What is going on, college football fans around the world, and welcome to today's preview video. In this preview, we will be covering the number 16 Miami Hurricanes versus the unranked Virginia Cavaliers. Now, these two teams are facing off this Saturday, October 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2 at Scott Stadium. Hold up real quick. We have a couple of super important announcements to make before we get into the meat of this video. Now, I know that we didn't get to talk a whole lot about the Miami FS. Excuse me. We didn't get to talk a lot about the Miami FSU. I'm sorry. It's like every time that I try to say FSU, I choke. All right. I'll stop with the jokes. I know that we didn't get to talk a lot about the Miami FSU game, and that's because I was at the game. I had a blast at Hard Rock. The atmosphere was lit. That was one of the most intense games I have ever witnessed in person, and it was just so much fun. I want to give a special shout out. Now, first off, I did enjoy meeting everyone. I love meeting all the subscribers. I got to meet around maybe 10 or 15 of you, but special shout outs to James and Betty. You guys know who you are and you know what you did, and from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it so much. And number 2, we have a brand new shirt up on the website for sale. I'm actually wearing it right now. It's the Don't Be a Fan Later shirt. I think it's pretty dope. I'll kind of slowly stand up so you can see it. It's got Sebastian throwing up the U, and at the bottom it says Don't Be a Fan Later. I think it's pretty sweet. It's available in about 10 different colors. But check it out. It's on my website, forgivengear.com. I'll have a link in the description and in my pinned comment. And be sure to use code word Canes and you'll get 10% off. So with those quick announcements out of the way, let's hop into the meat of this preview video. Now, some brief history between these two teams. Miami and Virginia have played each other 15 times in total, with Miami leading the series 9-6. The Hurricanes did win the matchup last year 44-28. And before we get into stats for this game, I actually want to talk about some pretty important notes about this matchup. The number one thing is that Miami cannot afford to sleep on this Virginia team, because I'm already seeing a lot of people saying that this game is in the bag, and that's most certainly not the case. This Virginia team expects to win. Their QB Perkins has thrown for over 1,100 yards so far this season, and he's completing around 63% of his passes, which is pretty darn impressive. Virginia also has a very dynamic and, for Miami, scary wide receiver, Zacchaeus. This guy has caught over 33 passes so far this season, amassing over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns for the Cavaliers. Virginia poses a pretty big threat in their passing game, and Miami's DBs are going to have to make sure that they are ready for this game. Now, Miami is 5-1 coming into this game, and Virginia is 3-2. But the big thing with this game is Virginia is coming off of a bye week. So really, they've had about 2 weeks to prepare for Miami. So let's talk some more numbers for these two teams. So far this season, average points per game for Miami coming in at 42. For Virginia, they come in at an average of 30 points per game. Points allowed against them per game, Miami coming in at 19 Virginia coming in at 20. And yards per game average for Miami, 410, with Virginia coming in at 418. Now, if you notice, so far, these stats are eerily similar. They are very close. Points per game, points allowed, yards per game. They're pretty darn close to the same. Now, the difference here for me is Miami yards allowed against them per game coming in at an average of 237, with Virginia coming in at 324. So I feel like that's a pretty big difference. That's almost 100 more yards allowed against them per game for Virginia. That just shows how good this Miami defense is. Now, speaking of defense, Miami's total defense is currently ranked in the top 5, I believe. But Virginia is ranked in the top 25, which is something that must be taken seriously by the Miami coaching staff and the Miami offense. To have a defense ranked in the top 25 is a big deal. You guys know what's next. Keys for a Miami victory in this game. Number 1. And man, oh man, do I have something to say about this one. Special teams for Miami must get better everywhere. Kick return, punt return, kickoff, punting. Everyone in every position in special teams must get better for Miami for this game. Please, and most importantly, please figure out something with the punt game. While I was at the FSU game, every time Miami would come out to punt, I would sit back in my seat, take my hat, and cover my face because I knew that it was going to be ugly and it was going to be short. Number 2 for Miami, the offense needs to start clicking in the first quarter. Not the second, not the third, not the fourth, the first quarter. Miami, just these last few seasons, they're known for kind of some vanilla play calling on offense and really just starting out slow on offense in general. It seems like they really start to click in the second half. That needs to stop now. We're getting into the meat of our ACC play, and the offense needs to start clicking from the first snap of the ball game. And lastly, Miami's passing game is most definitely improving with N'Kosi Perry at the quarterback position, but in the FSU game, there were too many dropped balls and too many overthrown balls. So N'Kosi Perry, work on your timing and accuracy a little bit more for this game, and wide receivers, catch the ball. Now, let's talk about how the Cavaliers can come away with a victory in this game. Number 1, Virginia must take advantage of their home field. This will be on your turf, and your fans will most likely outnumber the Miami fans. So take advantage of that. Take that energy from your fans, and you're going to need to harness that and use it to your advantage in this game. Now, point number 2, Virginia has kept most of their opponents' points within the 20 to 30 range. Now, if Virginia is going to beat Miami, I feel like they will have to keep the Canes under 21 points if they want to win this game. And lastly, I know that we touched on this earlier, but Virginia has had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And in my opinion, that's some extra time to practice some of those trick plays, if you know what I'm saying. And don't be surprised. I'm serious. Listen to me for a second. Miami fans, huddle up, huddle up. We do this in the live streams. Huddle up, Miami fans. Don't be surprised if you see that FSU trick play in this game. Don't be surprised if Virginia doesn't try to pull that same trick play because it was this close to working. And as always, I like to mention the ESPN matchup predictor. They have Miami's win percentage chance coming in at 73.4% and Virginia coming in at 26.6%. So again, Miami is favored to win in this game. That doesn't mean a darn thing. I'm just going to be straight with you guys. I kind of like when Miami is not favored because that gives you a little more fight. But Miami is favored to win this game. And you know that I am going to give my score prediction for this game, but I wanted to do it a little different for this one. So, you know what? Just follow me real quick. Follow me and I'll show you guys my score prediction. All right, Canes fans, I'm going to fill you in on a little Virginia tradition. What they like to do is they take a slab of rock with the opposing team's name on it. As you can see, I've already put UVA for Virginia on this slab of rock. And what they do is they call it breaking the rock tradition. So if they beat you in the locker room, they take this slab and a player on the team takes a sledgehammer, which your boy only has a regular hammer, so this is going to have to do. But what they do is they take it and they break that rock. So what we're going to do, you know what? Since a rock isn't going to get broken, since Virginia is not going to beat Miami, I figured let's break Virginia's rock. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. So you know what, Virginia, you can talk your smack. You're fourth in the ACC. Fourth. You're nothing. You're not ready for this Miami defense. You're not ready to face an actual elite college football team. So you know what? This rock right here, this rock with your name on it, you're done. My score prediction for this game. You see this? Done. I've got the Miami Hurricanes pulling out a dub at Scott Stadium, 38-10. They're not ready for Gerald Willis. That man is hungry. He's going to eat up that Virginia offensive line. He's going to eat up your quarterback. I'd be surprised if your quarterback survived the first quarter. So Miami Hurricanes going to take care of business, 38-10. Leave your score predictions below. Virginia, man, y'all's rock has already been broken. Remember though, guys, we like to talk a lot of smack on here, but we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I gotta say it is always better when you get to rep the U. College football vids, peace out, guys.